Hey guys at All Things Bulldogs Podcast. Tune in every Tuesday night and get around and support the boys. How the doggies?
G'day, doggies fans, All Things Bulldogs. How you going, Gas? Welcome.
Good, Michael. How you going? Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to episode 8. It's already episode 8 for 2026. And we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight, guys. I'll wait till a few more people jump on. Thank you to everyone who's already on. The Scary 79.
G'day, Scary.
He's a member of the family, has ended up not going to the game. That's all right. Plenty more opportunities to take the young fella to see a great game of rugby league from the Bulldogs in 2026. G'day, Balala Bukali.
G'day, Bill.
We're doing well. And welcome to Lucas. Lucas
G'day,
sent us some nice photos. I need to post those of his book and the merch that he got. Kangaroo Killers here. Welcome. So lots is happening, guys. Lots is happening. Salmon's in. A lot of people impressed by Salmon on the weekend. And look, we'll talk a lot about that, about because of the different strategies. Some players may have sort of got a plan A and B with their role. So they will need to be fitter. Some of these players, they will need to play longer minutes potentially, and they're going to be prepared for that. And g'day, champion Jason Young, one of my best mates.
G'day, Jason.
So we'll talk about Thompson's injury. There's lots to talk about, guys. And also say a little bit about Matt Utai. It won't be much, guys, but we will talk about that. Turpin aside, you're right about him in the 17. Yeah, look, I think he'll be named in the 19 every week, and that's why it's important to have a little look at some of those things. I got to watch the game from Gas, who did it from the sideline, and we also watched it on KO as well, so I got to see the best of both worlds. And one thing you could really see from Gas's footage on the sideline was I just felt you could see the contact, the intent in the contact a little bit better at times. And poor Gas had the sun just beaming and glaring into his eyes. He actually couldn't see through the screen at all. So it was just like point and hope. But the commentary was bloody brilliant. I enjoyed that. I'll tell you what, I know Phil Gould's a big fan of Matthew on who does his podcast and everything, and used to be on Fox and then come over to Channel 9 to replace Ray Warren. But honestly, I can't stand Matthew's commentary on rugby league. I would have Gas in there any day. And that's not giving you a massive compliment, Gas, unfortunately. But you sound good, man. You sound brilliant. And I think a lot of people agree. A lot of people agree with that notion that listened. We had over 100 people watching the game via Gas. So helping 100 people out is a massive, massive achievement. So well done, mate. Thank you so much for that.
No problem.
Nah, of course. I don't think there's ever an intention to hip drop someone. That's the thing. I just think it's just the thing. You're just trying to stop the player, and sometimes you lose your legs. It's dangerous, but it's always been dangerous. It used to happen quite often. I think it's more a result of the way that people tackle and stuff these days as well. 10 meters, faster through the line. Heinzie 98, thank you for being a member. And Timmy, there you go. So we've got 27 people on, so we basically get the itinerary out. So we are going to talk about a fair bit today. We'll do a full review of the trial. Myself and Gas will give you who we thought were our most impressive people. We'll talk a bit about Sean O'Sullivan. There was quite a bit to watch with Sean. and there was a lot of positives there. Obviously loves the system, but we'll talk about that. A couple of negatives as well, which not many people seem to see, but I did. I'll give you my most impressive players from the match, and so we'll gas the footy competition. Still plenty of time to enter for those that haven't. And there's a lot of you that haven't that tune in every week, because I can see. But we're getting down to the last couple of weeks now, guys. So you'll have 24 players to pick from. You'll see scrolling along is the 24 players I think that'll be going. It's basically come down to one player that I'm not sure whether they're going or not, and I'm assuming it might be Montoya who's not going on the plane, but I'd say he is, but I'm pretty sure Tuala's part of that camp. And like right now I've got 25 players that have been named, because they named 6 guys yesterday, including Cooper Toy and Jonathan Sewer. And I know that Turpin and O'Sullivan will be going. So it just comes down to Tuala and Montoya. And I think maybe only one of them are going. But I'm pretty sure both are in that would have been in that senior squad of 18 players. So, yeah. New merch yet as well. And the last thing we'll say, and I'll just say this to start the show off, and Gas will say something as well. Big condolences to Matt Utai, who was unfortunately, he's in a serious condition, shot in a drive-by. I don't know anything. Apparently it was meant for his son. Just horrible situation. Every family's worst nightmare to be involved in anything like that. Apparently he's just an innocent casualty out of this. That's about all I've known. No, don't want to talk about too much, but thoughts and prayers, that's all we can do. And there's lots of love coming from the Bulldogs community, and obviously led by his former teammates like Hazem, El Masri and stuff. Have you got any thoughts on that, Gas, or anything to add?
No, it's pretty disappointing, to be honest. Up at 6 a.m. he was out on his way to work, and unfortunately copped a few bullets, and they ditched the car not far away, and obviously torched it as they always do, and off they go. So it's disappointing, but let's hope he pulls through. He's a fighter, so let's hope he pulls through. He's got a lot of support, and I'm sure he's getting the best medical care and everything. So yeah, fingers crossed for everyone that he's okay. Let's see what happens.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. Yeah. And some people had no idea. Not everyone tunes into the news or is, they're doing their thing. Yeah. Scary just said he had no idea about that. So sorry to break bad news to people who didn't know about it. But if you just do a couple of searches, you can read a bit more about it. But pretty much covered there by Gas and myself what's happened.
It was only a couple of weeks ago we were actually talking about Matt Utai here on this podcast.
Yep. When I went away for a bit and you were talking about the history and that.
Yeah. So we were talking about Matty, obviously as a player, and there was a few comparisons to Brian Toto, and I was talking a few stories about him and how we used to play Oztag together and stuff like that. So it's sad, but that's unfortunately the where we live and what we have to survive with. And let's hope he pulls through. And it's a lesson out there for all the youngsters. Sometimes the parents might be the innocent ones, and it's the young ones doing something that's no good, and you get your loved ones in the crossfire. So just obviously where possible, everyone just stay clean and stay safe and stay away from all the bad stuff. It's a lesson out there for everyone. So hopefully we've all got choices to make, and if possible we can make the right ones and live a clean life. And stay away from the bad stuff. So, sometimes it hurts more to have your loved ones affected than it would have been for yourself. So, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Let's move. G'day, Aki. Welcome, matey. G'day, Hindey.
G'day, mate.
98's playing Rugby League 26 right now. Dogs in front by 28. And Hines, the absolute shocking news to wake up to this morning. My thoughts and prayers go to Matt Utai and family, and I pray and hope he pulls through and makes a full recovery. Welcome to ZDK. We'll talk about O'Sullivan. Lots for me to talk about. Welcome to Zayed.
G'day, guys.
Good to see you all. Lots to break down from the chats, guys. So let's get into the review, shall we? Straight up. And while I'm getting into that, we'll ask first of all about Leo Thompson's injury. Maybe we talk a bit about that as I'm getting that set up. What's your thoughts on his injury? Where is that?
Yeah, look, obviously it's disappointing for everyone that he's got the injury. And I know there's a few people, talking a few negatives already about potentially him being injury prone, etc. I don't think it's a case. I pulled up a few stats today to have a look at that. So last year, obviously, he played 16 games for Newcastle, but he was also suspended for 4. So there was a potential of 20 games he could have been playing there. Also, in the year before, in 2024, he played 23 games. And in 2023, he played 25 games. So he's had a good run. And plus, it mixed in with that, he also had 5 games with New Zealand. So 16 games / 20 for last year, 23 and 25 games plus 5 test matches. It's very good for a front rower. So he's obviously just had some bad luck at the moment, which happens. So, we'll work through with that. So if you look at it, 10 weeks is effectively for us only 7 rounds of our rugby league. With the fact that we're going to Vegas and the fact that we got the bye when we come back, and the way that the draw plays out. So hopefully he can only miss those 7 games and be back for us round 9. So maybe his last game will be the one against Brisbane and he's back for the Cowboys. So we'll see how that goes. But if he's on track, and if he's back earlier, then he's back earlier, hopefully. But it's a long season. Thankfully, this year, we've got a lot of depth. There's a lot of people knocking on the door. And as you would have seen, there's been a lot of players really stepping up and putting their hand up to be in contention. So when a player does go down now, there's a lot of sort of fighting and jostling for those positions about who's going to replace them. So as much as it's unfortunate, maybe him playing, let's say, 2/3 of the season might be a benefit to him. We start off strong. We're sitting nice when he comes back, and then he can have a good finish to the year and take us to something special. Let's hope.
Yeah. All right. Well said, mate. And thanks for providing a few facts around, the fact he's played nearly 60 games in the last 3 years. That's, for a front rower, that's really good. He's adjusting to a new training regime, new everything. He's been doing a lot of work on that. There's a few people saying, or with the thought in the back of their head that maybe he was injured all along, blah, 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 blah. Which would be a nice conspiracy considering we're asking for salary cap relief due to being injured in the All-Stars match. It would all pan out nicely. Good way to make money. But, rules are meant to be broken is all I can say. I don't think that's the case, but there's a bit of a theory going around about that. We'll stick on with Leo before we go back to a couple of those others. With Leo Thompson ruled out for 10 weeks, does that open the door for AJ Jones to make his debut or that opportunity to go to Jack Underhill? I've spoke about this a fair bit, Heinzie. I think Jack Underhill, they're going to – basically he's a like-for-like front rower. So Sam Hughes basically – Sam's not playing second row, whereas AJ can. So AJ's got that same versatility as you've got with your Hazers and your Currans and your Tupanuas and that type of player, your Lipoi Hopboys. So AJ's amongst that bunch of players. You probably throw Jack Todd in there as well that can play in the back row. as well as playing, at prop. And I think that gives you more of an ability to get onto the bench in first grade and gives you that ability to especially to play that bench role and develop yourself into a starter. As we've seen from Harry Hayes, has had a few opportunities starting as well. The other side of things there is Jack Underhill, to me, is a project that they're going to develop him into that Sam Hughes type of player, that DSF type of player potentially. Obviously, a little not quite as big as those guys, but plays bigger than he is, and he's not small by any means. He's a big boy. If you've ever seen him up close, he's pretty big and plays big as well. So look, he's got to develop where he's becoming that guy that they want to start in New South Wales Cup. Right now, he's more of a bench player there. And he's getting some strong competition from players like Zion Mayu'u, who's looking good, has looked good in all the trials he's played for New South Wales Cup last week as well. So, look, it's good competition there. And I think Jack will come into our top 30 next year, and he'll be one that they really spend their time developing to be one of those real middle, hard-working forwards that, you look at your other blondies in your Tolmans and your James Grahams, like he's in that mould, isn't he? So wants to be involved, wants to get the ball in his hand as much as he can, wants to make every tackle that he can make. But for me, AJ Jones, just a long way of answering that question, is more ready for NRL. The fact that he can come on from the bench and play, if they had to put him on an edge or put him somewhere, he could do it. And we saw in that first trial how he made 36 tackles on an edge and then gets used through the middle against the Knights and completely did not look out of place. So there's a good point there. Do you agree with that, Gas? You agree with that summary?
Yeah, big time. And I also think with AJ, I think we need to nickname him Mr. Freeze. I mean, did you see his reaction when they announced him in the room there? He was ice cold. He didn't react at all. He was just locked in. He was just focused, and he had that look in his eye, and he was like, yep, let's go. He was actually celebrating and more happy when a few of the others like Cooper Toy and that got in more than he was for himself. He just stood there cold-faced and just was very focused, that scary look in his eye. So, yeah, it was – but, yeah, definitely I agree with Underhill. Look, definitely a project. He's a real firebrand. He's that kind of player that you want in your team that's just going to go out there and have a go. And I don't know if any of you have ever played rugby league or you watch a lot of it. Some of these players go in there with absolutely no fear. They just tackle anything that moves. There's no second thought. That's what Jack Underhill is. He's that kind of player that just goes in. Every team needs to have at least one or two of those people in the team, and that's the way he plays. He's just tireless, and he like Michael said, he's bigger than his size. Like he's not a huge guy. He's not that tall, but he's big, and he plays with a lot of heart. So he's going to have a big future, hopefully with the Bulldogs. And like he's someone that we can sort of keep working towards to get the way we want. So the beauty of it is having the depth that we've got is, we can do that as long as the players are patient with the sort of path we're leading them on. That's good. For those that are not patient, usually what will happen is the manager will get in their ear and then off they go somewhere else to look for an opportunity. Yeah. So, yeah.
And that's it. It doesn't work out for everyone. Some people are loyal to the club. They're patient. And this goes all through the juniors. And then, the club goes and gets an opportunity to buy some other players that come up. And all of a sudden that pathway is closed and they've got to go somewhere else. Like that's just the reality. That's the business side of it. It's something that speaking with parents and stuff, they got to deal with from all levels. We got to see a couple of kids who are in the Bulldog system, had the opportunities to be in the Bulldog system still, but decide to leave and they played well on the weekend. Very proud of those. Geordie Mazzoni in that Charity Shield. I actually haven't seen a winger make 14 tackles in my life, and he did. So I'm pretty sure Wayne Bennett would be impressed by that effort from a winger, and I don't think. And every time he threw himself somewhere, I think he held on. So, couple of ineffectives, but no misses. And Will Afualu put his hand up as well and had a nice performance in it, playing against a much way more experienced than George side that should have won that match. Congratulations to that South team. Like, they deserve to win it. But do those guys, in my opinion, look anywhere near ready for first grade? I'd have to say no. And I'd say that about 95% of that side don't look ready for first grade. Definitely a couple of them for sure. And they had a few first graders there, not, Sean Kepi and that. First graders at their best. But this is what I mean. People are going to go to other clubs and they're going to feel their pathways blocked and whatever else. They're going to have those personal feelings. Their managers are going to feel the same. Their parents are going to feel the same. And that's just the way it is. Players like Sam Hughes are going to fight for a spot this year. They could get money straight away at another club, but they're going to stay and fight. Blake Wilson was another who stayed and fought. Doesn't mean we're going to get them. They're going to get a contract next year with the Bulldogs because they were loyal to us. Doesn't mean that the club's not giving that jersey to anyone, right? No one just gets the jersey because they're loyal or because they're juniors or anything. That jersey goes to whoever the club thinks is going to give us the best opportunity to win premierships. And whether it works out that way or not, they're going to make mistakes. They always will. But I'll trust they'll get most things right. And eventually it'll align and we'll be in the picture to win a comp. And that's all we can ask for. Lots to talk about. Lots and lots to talk about here, guys, because we just need to get into some sort of routine the way we put this out so I don't go everywhere and off kilter. Let's just quickly, before we go to your comments, guys, and I'll let Gas actually pick the next comments we talk about. I'm just going to quickly run through some of the stats. Okay, obviously 28-0, 5 tries to zip, 3 tries in the first half, and 2 in the second half. And basically dominating the second part of each half. It was a very Bulldogs-like performance. There wasn't too many risks taken. Obviously, when Jonathan Sewer puts in a entertainer's kick through, that's still not a risk. We've already made the break. That's just trying to score a try from a break, But I'm talking about taking risks with offloads in your own half and doing things to break a game open and stuff. They just went through some moves. But for me, you can see this. Possession wins. That's what we're good at, 55%. An extra 5 minutes with the ball, completing 84%, 215 runs, nearly 1,800 metres. Line breaks 5-4. A couple of line breaks we let through I was a bit disappointed about, but it's a trial. And we had a couple of young fellas there. Knights made more tackle breaks than us. Average set distance an extra 10 metres, basically, which gave our young people, our back three, some width. Offloads, we didn't bother worrying about that. Our players were very busy, big on the kicking metres, and that's without Birdo. So 10 bombs to none, 3 grubbers to 1. Missed tackles was really high. We missed double the amount of tackles, which obviously not the best, and we used 12 interchanges to 10. So, look, the Knights really wanted to put their players through a bit of hell, sort of like us with Brisbane last year. We were, we played that to get a lot of fitness out of it. I think the Knights will perform better in Vegas than everyone's saying they will. I don't know, like every year, it seems fans in general, but especially us, just seem to catastrophize everything about trials and the start of the year. And like we don't, the grand finals won in 31 weeks or something, 33 weeks from now. It's a season, you know. Looking at the players' stats, I'm going to give you my 3 best players, and it's not Jamin Salmon topped the tackle count with 35 tackles, which was awesome from him. He was busted, like really burning by about the 25-minute mark. Serrato kept him on, and I'll talk about why that's important. Galvin, 25 tackles, was putting his body in there. He got brushed off a couple of times. Maxi King looked like he was way above any forward on the field, in my opinion. Just did it easily. I felt Harry Hayes, as much as I love Harry, was a little bit needed the run. Kicks looked more fit than he's been for a long time. Preston was just happy to be playing rugby league again. Kurt Mann come on and worked. He didn't over-exert himself. Satilli, well, we saw what Satilli Tupanua did. He had they weren't wanting to run at Satilli, put it that way. And you saw what happens when he smashed someone. The next time they get the ball, what happens, Gas?
They try to come back.
They drop it.
Yep, every time.
Yep. Every time. We saw that with Kikau when he was putting pressure on the Titans a couple of years ago or last year. Just absolutely frightening them. And
that tackle was heard around the stadium. That tackle was heard around the stadium. You could hear the crunch. It was
massive.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was worth. That was just worth the admission alone, guys. Just to see that tackle, he was fired up. Like there's no way that was a trial for him. He was on trial, if that makes sense. He was playing. He was trying to make a statement there.
The intent and line speed. Look, I know there's missed tackles here, guys, but you could see from the intent and line speed of the Bulldogs that they were just wanted to apply pressure the whole way. Yeah, and it meant we slipped off a few tackles. Now, I'm going to launch into who I think was the most important players in that match. I think Max King, Sam Hughes, and Jamin Salmon early are the reason why everything was able to happen. Because the Newcastle pack did not match up to our pack. Our pack beat them. Yeah, they had a couple of opportunities and they got some field position. But in my opinion, they were the 3 players that set the tone early. Galvin was busy. Matt Burton was classy in that back line with Critter and the pass from Galvin to Burton out to Critter and Jonathan Sewer, or out to Kikau and then Jonathan Sewer for that try. The break down the sideline, the little tip on from Critter, just absolute class. And the amount of options that they've got, I think it was deliberately done in the way that all these players, Cherry, Critter, Sewer, Tuala, they can play either side of the field. It doesn't matter. They've all practiced and trained both sides. And Cherry on the right with Carraz, I think, will do well. And they'll want Bronson to improve that defensive part of his game and become an attacking threat with Jacob and having Critter out there. I just think it means that we're just going to get more breaks down that left edge and really put some teams that struggle to defend on that right edge, which is most teams, to the sword. I think that's just going to get us an extra 6 to 12 points every game. Let's say 6. And defensively, I don't think we'll lose too much. I think Bronson's getting more senior enough in that role to be able to do that. Galvin, as I said, really busy. But Bailey Hayward, that pass, that just, he showed some real eyes up stuff in attack and made it look easy. You know, that's Jamin Salmon try where he just quickly out of dummy off after a really good solid run that Galvin made. Quick play the ball, which was brilliant. Bailey Hayward just jumped straight out. Beautiful pass to Salmon, back inside the Tupanua. Tupanua breaks it open, gets it back to Salmon for the try under the post. That was brilliant. I probably should have Gas's replay playing while we're talking about all this, but as I said, Presto, professional as, really impressed by what Hughesy did while he was on the field, and you could see how much better we were having having some professionals out there. You know what I mean? Like Max King, really, it really helps Max if he's got a player that can go out there and do the job confidently, and obviously for Sam, having Max there as well was just big for him, and they worked really well together. Joshy Curran, well, he had an up and down game, we can say that, but don't write Joshy off just because he had that. You know, people talking about like, oh, he's not in our best 17 and rah. Well, it's a 19-team bench now, and this is why I've got to talk a lot about the roles and the 2 or 3 roles that different players are going to have and how it's going to be important. I'm going to definitely go into that after Gas has a chat about his most impressive players. And I'll talk about Sean O'Sullivan comprehensively once we do that as well. But, you know, people talking about Curran like he's someone that we should just get rid of now. Like, absolutely, you know, why? You've got a player there that loves the club, that probably didn't want to leave, to be honest, if he had his way. But he's got a great opportunity to go and be a legacy player at Perth. And I'm just saying from my opinion, I don't know that about Josh, or whether he wanted to stay or go. I'm sure he would have loved to have got an upgraded contract from the Dogs. That would have been great. But he's got a good contract that we can't match and probably weren't prepared to match. It is absolutely priceless to have a player of his versatility in that 19-man squad that runs out there every week or every second week or whatever if he's not quite making the team. If we lose Tupanua, if we lose Harry Hayes, if we lose Sam Hughes or DSF or Thompson or King, like, I know people want to move on to AJ Jones and move on to these great youngsters and it's like, get them in now so they're great next year. But if you've got Josh Curran in your top 30, that's an absolute luxury to have. And anyone saying anything different would never get a job with a football team, I can tell you that much. Well, not ahead of me anyway. Jonathan Sewell was great. Connor Tracy, professional. Bronson, I think people would have liked to have seen him stretch out when he got made that intercept. I think a few alarms went up. Some questions were raised after that. And then we had Sullivan come on and gave the appearance like things worked better with him. I'll talk a lot about Sean O'Sullivan after Gas gives me his. Who are the 3 players that you liked, Gas?
Well, the first one for me was, and if anyone was listening to my coverage, I mentioned Sam Hughes a lot. I thought his impact that he had as well to start the game was enormous. He made a big impact. Sort of ran it hard and was very solid. The other one for me that was, it might be an obvious one for some people, but I think Critter really, for me, showed something different in this game and turned the corner from what we saw last year, where we know, later so much that he was carrying some injuries, etc. he was putting in a lot of effort in attack and defense, and he was actually taking a lot more hit-ups than he normally would. If anyone watched him last year, he usually wasn't one of the guys that takes those hit-ups coming off your line. Usually, Carraz, Montoya, and a few guys will do that sort of stuff, and even Cherry, but he was actually taking those big runs. And if you see what he was doing, he had 2, 3, 4 guys on him, still getting the leg drive, still getting the post-contact meters. He was playing really strong, and that was sort of exciting to see from him. And the other one for me was Lachie Galvin. I think his effort, his energy all the way through the game, you would have seen him sometimes as soon as a ball was loose or something was going on, he was just like a jumping jack flash. He was up and around. He was running left and right, trying to find a gap, making some half breaks. Like Michael said, he created that half break that set up the Tupanua try. But that level of, and even his kicking game was solid, but that level of play all the way through, he was consistent. And I think, did he end up playing the 80 minutes? The coach kept him out there for pretty much the majority of the game, as far as I can remember. He was out there for a long time. So, and it was pretty warm out there on the day, especially that first half was very warm. So that energy level that he kept was fantastic. Now, around the edges, we had obviously Jonathan Sewer. I think we spoke last week. There was a few people saying that they weren't happy with him from the last trial last week against the Knights. Against the Cowboys. So this week, the game that he played, people could start to see a few of the things that we've been talking about. Michael's highlighted a couple of times where he's seen him do some plays similar to, for anyone who remembers, Willie Tonga, that sort of classy, sublime skill. And you saw that the other day on the run, the ability to kick the ball from the outside of the leg, get it back on the inside there. I mean, even just to score that try that he did, he had to be in the right position and run that right gap. The one where he lost the ball late in the game, if you saw that, where he was running in the corner, the angle was all wrong anyway. Even if he got the ball, there was a good chance he wasn't going to score that. I know he was upset not to get the ball, but all he meant was he lost the opportunity to potentially do something back on the inside or step back inside, but his angle was all wrong anyway there. But overall, the defense for me was the biggest thing. Like, you would have, if you heard the commentary we were doing, we were cheering just as loud for the defensive plays to stop any points as much as we were for the tries. Disappointing the ref blew his whistle on Critter for the intercept. I mean, Critter I don't think he's had a try since round 11 last year. So he was gunning to get some points, at least, under the post. That was a poor call by the ref, but you got to play the whistle. But Harry Hayes at halftime to stop that try, making sure he bats the ball over the dead ball line. Harry also copped a bit of a knock, so he had to sort of go off and get some blood tended to. But the desperation there, even at the end, the guys were getting back there when they had to, when there was a line break. And even that last desperate save. So Tay Cochran got himself in front first, and then Sean O'Sullivan sort of grabbed him and turned him over. And from where we were standing, we were screaming. If you see the coverage, we were calling, held him up way before we could see that he hadn't got the ball down. There was just that sort of ruthlessness. Now, overall, if you watched the game closely, the Bulldogs settled into that grinding game that they love. They were getting the ball where they wanted it. They were kicking the ball down. There was a couple of great kicks into the corner. Hayward kicked one down there. O'Sullivan was kicking a few down there. We basically were pinning them down in their half, and we were just grinding them away. Now, where the Knights really, really let themselves down was with their hands. That was an extremely disappointing game by them with their hands. I mean, Bradman Best probably had one of his worst games, even in defence. But he's a very hot and cold player, so that's expected from him. But it was a very disappointing game from them overall. Just with their hands, they just kept turning the ball over, which obviously allowed us to have 55% of that possession. So they kept giving us opportunities, and we got some repeat sets. There was a few things that went our way. But overall, we still executed the game plan the way we wanted. And that's, I think, what Seraldo was looking for, to see that we grinded those teams out, did what we had to do. And the reward for the team at the end was they got the coffee cart back out there. As the standard rule, if you keep a team to 0, Seraldo pays for a coffee cart at training, and the coffees are on him. So yeah, that was sort of my take. But overall, good result, good start. But as we saw last year, we got smashed by Brisbane in the trial, and we came out and won our first 6. So trials are one thing. It's now about executing and doing. So what happened to the Dragons for me is dangerous. I would have rather they played a perfect game against the Rabbitohs and smashed them than what they did now. Now they're going to be even more embarrassed, more hungry, more desperate against us all the way over in Vegas. So we're going to have to be ready to fight fire with fire from the word go. There's no expectation of them having a back-to-back performance like that. Sort of the bounce-back factor is going to be critical. So, we're obviously all still expecting our team, if we play to our potential, to get the cookies. But it's going to have to be a big, brutal game. So really, really looking forward to that challenge. I can see quite a few people already have started to take the air and they've started heading over to America. So that's exciting. Obviously, we've been doing our countdown. We'll be posting day 11 today. I'll be posting that one shortly. So we're getting very, very close, guys. This time, next Sunday, guys, we'll be watching the game wherever you are in Australia. If you're here, it's going to be huge. So it's a mini grand final for us to start the year. So really exciting stuff.
Nice, Gas. I'm just sending. I forgot to invite my personal people. If you're already on, and I'm inviting you, thank you.
And also, I approached Matty Burden after the game when he was over there signing autographs for everyone. That was a good sign just to start. So if he was sort of down and out, he probably usually they go into their shell, but he was upbeat. And I looked at him. I said, Matty, precaution. And he looked up and he goes, no, mate. He goes, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. So exactly what he said to Gus. So yeah, obviously the coaching staff have to be commended for what they did. They saw something and basically dragged him off before he had the opportunity to do anything to himself. So they weren't happy with what they saw. They saw him sort of get up a bit ginger. So they actually were able to get him off before something happened. So that's the benefit of having some experienced people there to catch these things. These things are going to happen. So let's hope he's fit and ready for Vegas, because he is our best 5'8" in the club. He's our best player. So let's get behind the team and like Michael's going to talk to you shortly about Sean O'Sullivan. It's an amazing depth to have, and in the next coming months, Mitchell Woods will be available. So we're in a great position to cover a lot of things that might happen in the season. So it's going to be good. So.
All right. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate that. And agree with 99.9787% of what you said. Probably 100%, but I just felt like being difficult. Thank you to Bulldog Mike 75, who has become a member on the channel. Much appreciated, Mike.
Welcome, Mike.
And hello to you, buddy. Sorry if we haven't said hello to everyone, but thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I've sent all the messages, quite a few of us on there. We'll just run through a few chats before I get into O'Sullivan. AJ Jones reminds me of a young kicker, especially the blonde hairdo. Heinz, he says, Cooper Toy must have been very impressive during the off-season in the trials. He was a surprise pick for me. Definitely is. And it probably says to me that one of those, I think Carraz is okay. So I would think that maybe Montoya might be injured, or Tuala's injured, or somebody. Lucas said he thought Jonathan Sewell played very well. I think it was Shoei last week who just made the mention that Sewell looked a bit average in that first game, and we went into a lot of detail about that. And look, there's a couple of plays where Sewell needed to be better on the weekend as well, in a couple of moments. But I felt he showed that he's a solid backup, and he's only going to get better and better and better and better and better. And Gas explained it really well. Kangaroo says that Turpin had a bit of time in the front row as well as Nine. Well, that's what I want to talk about when I talk about O'Sullivan and the roles of the players. because someone asked whether they see O'Sullivan playing this year. Typically great at the end of both halves. Critter was solid. Tuala showed some great toe to get back and make that defensive play. So the stuff that Gas was talking about. And Tibby says, great call by the coaching staff to get Burton off the field. Sean O'Sullivan relieved Bailey at times in the hooker role. Yeah, Sean got his he got his hands on the ball, as much as Galvin in the end. And showed, look, I'll talk about him in a sec. Bulldog said he's glad to be here. Jamin Salmon looks fit. Yeah, well, he was gassed after 27, but he stayed on for 40 and come on again late. And he was played really well. Jamin Salmon knows the system. And anyone who knows the system there, Sean O'Sullivan knows the Bulldog system that they're playing. He knows Serrato's system. He's seen it before. He understands it. Defensively, I really enjoyed watching Sean get to work defensively. He's very good. Amir says Critter looks $1 million. Well, look, in my opinion, the guys, I felt everything they did in defense was 100% effort. In attack, I just felt they were cruising. Honestly, I felt they were under no pressure whatsoever in their mindset, the way they played. And you can sort of tell that by the play the ball speed. It was slow as hell. The only ones who really played the ball quickly were the guys that are trying to get on the plane, the young kids, the Cooper Toys and the Perus and that, they're bouncing to their feet to get the ball. Critter was playing it at 5 seconds or something. He did actually look to me. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he did look like he copped a couple of things he wasn't too happy about in the tackles, and really sort of had a few words with a couple of young guys who tried to sort of have a crack at him. But he sort of got up real slow a few times, and I don't know if it was because he was feeling the injury or whatever. G'day, Pete, and thank you so much, brother.
Hey, Pete.
Pete's on. Look, reserves and Jersey Flegg. So we lost Jersey Flegg trial. We lost the reserves trial, but it was equal in the tries. Goal kicking was bad. We lost the SG ball after scoring early. I felt the team has a lot of really good players in it. I think some of the stars try a bit too hard, just my first personal opinion. But you got to remember, these kids are trying to take the next step up. So the team first mentality is a bit harder for a kid than it is for a first grader, because they want to be in the shining lights. They want to be seen. Obviously, they get seen for the way they put their club and teammates first, 100%. And they all love their footy, but it'd be hard. Put it this way: it's harder for a young fella to stay poised and patient, if that makes sense. And I just feel like sometimes some of the players play a bit rushed, or there's an easier play there that they could take, or a more of a professional play or percentage play. It doesn't always happen, and then there's the reverse where they won't chance their hand. But the guys were buggered in every game that I watched. They all put their heart and soul out there. It's pretty warm still at the moment. So some great efforts. Our Harold Matt's team looked like it's going to have a really good season. It's only early days, round one, but they smashed the Raiders. And another young fella, I think it's a Tupanua, maybe his surname. Not sure if he's related. Looked a little bit like Critter out wide. Macca posted a little video of it on X. So, yeah, he's got the headgear on and tall and lanky, and just did the shimmy down the right edge.
And you got to remember that 10 of the additional players were playing in the first grade, so that feeds all the way down the depth as well. So
it does.
10 additional players up there in the top grade.
A lot of them actually backed up too. So there was players in Flegg who played the Cup, and there was players in Cup who then actually went on and then played in first grade. So I'm pretty sure Reardon and Coop and Tay Cochran and Toy and that all actually played a little bit of that trial. Well, they did. So yeah, there was so obviously it's just that they're just trials. You know, they're getting a good run out there. But the Harold Matts and SG Ball, the comp started. So they're in round 2. It'll be round 3 this week. If you got Bar TV or you can get down to their games, go down and have a sausage sizzle or whatever's there. Go to the canteen, watch a couple of youngsters having a game and look at the new players coming through. Australian schoolboys in these sides, guys. There's future stars galore. So if you can get down there, go and watch them. G'day, Benny. You're late, mate. You're late, buddy. Amir said Hayward's defence has improved in the contact. Well, it was always going to, and it's going to improve every year. Like, this is what I mean. There's boys becoming men right before your very eyes, and we think so much. It happens all the time. We learn from where you saw Hayward come from. As I said, he goes from a player in 2023 who throws his arm out in a couple of tackles when he's tired, as a halfback, to by the preseason of 24. He's coming in and playing lock in the middle. You know, that's a big gain and a big step up. Like, and if they can do that, they can do it again. And he's handling the preseasons. He's getting better. You can see by his body shape, he's got more muscle. And as I said, when you've got people like Viliami Kikau and Max King and all these players who, and the coach and Gus Gould, who are like, you're part of the main part of our squad, Bailey. Like, you're leading us around. We trust and rely on you, mate. Like, you're one of our best. The fans just need to get on board.
He looked very sharp out there this game. He looked very sharp.
He looked real sharp.
He looked good. He looked really good.
All these, they sit there and go, I'm going to rank the 17 hookers. Oh, go on. Come on. Rank them. I just want to go back and see if we missed any. Stevie said he's looking forward to seeing Perusa or AJ Jones, Latu, and Bugger. I forgot the young blonde forward's name. Jack Underhill. Yeah, lots to be excited about. Was there any others?
You missed this one here as well.
Oh, Tony's asked me a question. And thank you, Tony, for always being a member for a long time. Much appreciated as well. What fixture am I most anticipating outside of Vegas? Well, it's hard not to. Canberra Raiders in round 3 is going to be a big anticipation because it'll be 18 days. But South Sydney, Good Friday, I'm quietly just absolutely going mental for that game because I feel something about Souths that I don't like to feel. And
did you see the team they named this today?
Huh?
See the team they named for this week?
No.
They've got a team and a half. Like they're starting to look. They're starting to take some shape.
Let's have a quick look at it, eh? And
for me, while you're bringing that up, I think for me, I really want another crack at the Broncos after last year's, losing all 3 games. We got some unfinished business with them, so I'm looking forward to a Broncos showdown to get something going.
Yeah, look at this side. Ashton Ward rewarded for a really good game in the Charity Shield. He's one of them kids. You look at him and go, "Oh, he's not a footballer. He should be playing Xbox." No, I'm serious. If he was my kid, I wouldn't even let him near a football field. Look at him. There's no hyperlinks working on the players, which is annoying. I wanted to click on, Tavitas is. Obviously, they mustn't have one for him. Tavita Totola gets to start. Imagine him if he got to his best. He was supposed to be the next Sam Burgess. Brandon Smith, Keon, Tallis Duncan, David Fafita, Cameron Murray. And who are they going up against? Nathan Brown, Corey Waddell, Hugo Hart. He sounds like he should be in the WWE. Takiaho, Jake Simpkin, and Taniela Pasica. Another one who has promised everything and only delivered for a few weeks before getting bad injuries. Joey Walsh, really good young talent. Jamie Humphreys on the bench, Mamazulos, Bronson Garlic, and you and well, that's look. I don't think that's their main. Their interchange isn't going to be like that in a normal game, but it does show you that
they've got a couple of hookers there.
The Dolphins. Wayne Bennett was looking at what Cameron Serrato's been doing. He was watching him, and we saw it with the Dolphins last year. Blake Wilson, Ethan Bullimore, and Kobe Heverington. Then you got Zach Docker Clay, Brandon Wakeham, another Bulldog. Blake Metcalf, and lots of reserves. Tom Fletcher, Matty Humphreys, Latrell Sewalt from the Queensland, Liam LeBlanc, who's played a lot of first grade. Bentley Harpe, he's got a really...
and how good was Matt Duffy on the weekend as well? I think he was the difference between them winning and losing at the end of the game.
100%. 100%.
I mean, running meters, he didn't drop a ball. It's only one sort of bad, pass where he probably could have held on to it late in the game, but he was great.
He's going to be a great backup for him. Like, they've got a big reps on this young fella, Jai Gray, and look, I reckon he plays well, but still, I think he's got it all to prove. Geordie Mazzoni gets another crack, and I'd say that's because of the efforts he made as a winger in defence. I'm telling you. Plus, if he gets on the outside, it's lights out. Adam Elliott gets his chance. Lachlan Hubner, I think he's a first grader every day of the week. So they're got a lot more depth. It really helps when you can get, $3.5 million worth of salary cap for under two. It really fucking helps. Well, they haven't even got that yet. They haven't got Huss yet, but yeah, look, they're going to go well, as they should. But 2 or 3 injuries, and yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the Rabbits because they won't fear the Bulldogs. They never do. Even when I'd never seen the Rabbits and a Wayne Bennett coach side look so void of answers as the 2 times the Bulldogs played the Rabbits last year. Without that lightning strike, I don't think they score a point.
Yeah.
I think we go back to back with them not scoring a point. I think that changed everything. It changed.
Yeah, it definitely hurt us more.
And they definitely got a bit of confidence out of that. They started to, but as I said, Dean Pay's teams understood that. You go on a bit of a run at the end and you think you've got a side, but when it all counts, when you're in contention, that's not going to save you, Yeah. If they go out there and play a Wayne Bennett style footy, keep it simple, play it through the middle, and then just create their opportunities on the edges, they will have a fantastic season if all those players can stay fit. If not, there seems to be a fair bit of depth there. So let's get rid of Souths off our screen. If people sick of seeing South Sydney on there, I am. It's making me feel sick. Can't believe you work for them.
We just sponsor them. It's all right.
There's Leo. Leo's leaving, but let's get Shawnee on there, eh? Shawnee O'Sullivan. Where is he?
So Timmy was saying that we're going to need Leo for the origin period. There you go.
That's it. See if we can keep our undefeated run going through origin when Leo comes back.
Although it'd be interesting to see if they with the rule changes for Origin, whether someone like a Max King is pushed out for a few others potentially.
I think Max will be struggling to make Origin again, but
that's what I'm saying.
By
Yeah,
seeing the way he played, I think he plans on continuing that career as a player. And
it's up to the Dogs. If they start well and they're playing strong, we're gonna have a lot of players picked from our team. So if we're up near the top and everyone's in form, then yeah. Potentially, I'd love to see Karaz in there as well this year too.
There's not too many players who year on year improve the amount of meters they make per game, while also improving pretty much everything else. Only thing that sort of dropped down a bit with the offloads. 35 when he come onto the scene as the number 2 prop. When he became the man and had to set the tone, that dropped off, but the intention's always there, and teams bring another player in to make sure Maxi can't offload, and that opens it up for the next play. You got to understand this shit. Just the threat of a player that's constantly got that ability. And then you get people going, oh, he's not offloaded enough when he used to. Yeah, that's because he's attracting more defenders and it's harder. But trust me, it's helping us on the next play. There's always it's like, okay, we don't get this part, but what's the positive we take out of that play? The next one. Cole Flanagan running the ball. What's the positive? If he gets a quick play the ball away, can set it up for a rush, one-on-one with a big man on a small man on the next set, on the next play, I mean. Yeah, so let's get into Sean. I keep getting off. I really want to talk about Sean, and that's what we're going to do.
Let's go.
Shawnee O'Sullivan.
Hit it and quit it. Let's go.
Right, he's 179 centimeters, so he's 5'10" and a half. He's 86 kilos. He's 27 years old.
Still a pup.
Played for the Roosters, the Broncos, the Warriors, the Panthers, and the Dolphins. He's a Glenmore Park Brumbies junior. Okay. Now let's go to his statistics. Look, statistics tell one story. The most games he's ever played in a season is 14 NRL matches. There's something in that as well that you got to understand. Panthers, 11 matches, 8 wins, 3 losses, 2 tries, 2 goals. Kicking meters, 354 meters was his average, which is good. That puts you up there in the echelon. He forced 5 dropouts in his 11 matches. So nearly 1 every 2 games. 11 try assists. That's 1 per game. 4 offloads. Tackled at 93% efficiency in the Penrith system. Only missing 18 tackles. Obviously, they hold possession. You hold possession, your halfback doesn't have to do as much work. Okay. It's not just he was better there. He's in a better team that held the ball. What's the Bulldog system about? Holding the footy. 73 meters running. And had his highest average fantasy points was 50.4 average in that year. Obviously, 4 games last year for the Dolphins, 4 losses. I wouldn't say he was out of favour, but they're progressing. Katoa. Cody Nikorima is the better, more dominant 5'8". And yeah, it wasn't as comfortable in that system. He will be comfortable in the Bulldogs system. The trial match he played on the weekend had as many touches as Galvin. Now, this is what I want to talk about, because there's been some comments that, okay, well, Galvin moves to 6, O'Sullivan should be our 7, Burton out to centre, or fullback, or lock. It's hilarious. Sean O'Sullivan doesn't get close to Matthew Burton as a 6. I'll tell you that now. And I don't, Johnsy said this guy's got a great mind, and he will. And that's why probably will forge a coaching career, because to be a halfback, you got to be able to see the game. And he understands that system. A player rushes up, he's like, well, I'm taking the gap. I'm not going to try and pass it to someone that's got someone already sitting on him. He did that. That looked fantastic. As I said, defensively, he was wonderful. And I see O'Sullivan and Turpin both being named quite often in our 19-man squad to take the field. But I doubt that both will ever play the same game, if that makes sense. It's just going to all depend on what the plan is. I think the plan would be to, run a Kurt Mann to replace a Jamin Salmon and a Jake Turpin or Sean O'Sullivan to replace Bailey Hayward at some point in a game. If one of the halves goes down, you're going to put O'Sullivan out there straight away, which is what happened in that trial. If everything's going all right, okay, what are we going to do? An outside back goes down. I think you'll see that the team will carry, the fact that we've got Burton's versatility to be able to go to centre means that they might not have to carry that extra player, and they might they'll carry the Turpin and the O'Sullivan. Or the other option is they carry one of those two players in that 6-man bench, and they carry like a Tuala or a Sua or someone into games. And obviously there'll be a huge rotation where they might just, maybe they go, they play one outside back and one half, and then you've got half or hooker or that type of utility player each game, and they just rotate with another player. So, and then depending on injuries and whether they get themselves into the 17 and that sort of thing. But it was a trial game, guys. We need to understand that they weren't. He did a wonderful job, but I don't think people well, you might understand. I shouldn't say you don't. But from what the stuff I'm hearing on some socials, like Birdo, I know he got injured and he had a little twinge or whatever, but he was so classy. And he looked fit. And he looked ready to go. And I think this season's a very, very important one, obviously, for him and for the Bulldogs. And they're locked in. They're there to win a comp this year. You don't always get what you want, but I know every team wants to win, but that Bulldogs side, from the intent I saw in that trial in defence, they're not going anywhere, guys. You're going to have to fucking play well to beat the Bulldogs. And I think many teams will realise that. And some teams will ascend and teams will have to take risks. If the Dragons are going to beat the Bulldogs, it's not going to be through grinding us out over 80 minutes. We're going to have to play pretty poor for them to do that. They're going to have to go there and have some plays that they've worked on, that they know that they can beat the Bulldogs with, and they're going to have to nail them. They're going to have to take some risks if they're going to beat us, because we're not going to – I can't see the Dogs beating themselves in this scenario. And players like Sean O'Sullivan were going to ensure that happens, because he knows the system. The Jamin Salmons know the system. Birdo, Critter, Kickow. I know I just named a lot of future or past Penrith players. And then you got the players like King, who understand the system and trust it now. Cherry, everyone involved. Tracy's there now for his 3rd year. You get your team playing for 3 years. They've played a number of games, most of them. They've all played together. Their confidence in each other is huge. You've got the 3 amigos who are joined at the hip. Carraz and Hayward and Cherry, Jacob Preston, who's going to, only bad luck and stupidity is going to stop him from playing Origin this year. Look, we are raring to friggin' go, and people go, oh, why did we sign Sean O'Sullivan? I might have even thought that in my head. And then you go look at it because he knows the system. When the tackle needs to be made, he's going to be there to put his body in front. And he's going to get off his line quick and he's going to be there again. And then if he's caught in a tackle, that the other players, the system say, well, we're going to come in and be there to cover him. Right? In and out, in and out, in and out. Our edge back row is working their fucking ass off. Now, one of them gets injured. Harry Hayes or Josh Curran goes on the edge. No problem. If one of them gets injured, AJ will come and do the job. Satilli will do the job. The versatility in that pack, that depth in that pack is immense. And honestly, hopefully I'm not eating my words later on, but I'm impressed by this club. I'm impressed by this team. And what I saw from that trial was just a trial. They did it easy in attack. Defense, they worked their ass off. Still had a couple of moments, yeah. Still fell off some tackles, too many missed. But the intent and the contact that you could hear, yeah, that's what I wanted to see. And then you got all these young guys just, good judges watching the Bulldogs young guys know what's coming through. And whilst we haven't been absolutely killing it like last year and in Cup and Flag and whatever else, the individuals that they're preparing for to come through in these roles are going to know the system back to front. And when they come in, it'll just be seamless. You're not going to have a player come on that plays 12 minutes in his debut and then never gets picked again. Like, that's just not going to happen anymore. The players that come through are ready for the pressure, ready to make a career in the NRL and ready to basically fight tooth and nail for a spot within that top 30 every single year. So bringing a guy like Sean O'Sullivan to this club and to this team just is going to reinforce all that.
It's going to help Galvin as well.
Going to be great for Galvin. And again, Galvin, look, there was about 5 moments, if you break it down, where you go, Galvin throws that over the top. We score there. But I love the fact he just went short to Sam Hughes on 3 occasions. Sam Hughes. And he went short to Harry, and he went short. It's like, yeah, I can do that. It's just a trial. We'll play it short. And look, he'll get to the moment. They'll probably think he's going to float one over. They'll all slide. He'll play short, and Sam Hughes will score under the posts. That's the sort of stuff that's going to happen. And the speed in which he's doing it. Look, a couple of negatives about the only negatives that I ever see with Galvin, and I also saw this with O'Sullivan as well, actually, and Dave, who's very good at pinpointing these things, mentioned it to me as well. They can cramp up their edges a bit just through their intent in wanting to be a part of everything. So by that I mean they're demanding the ball, they're getting it, and they're searching for something. And you see that sometimes with a Kurt Mann who's like, okay, I can pass you out the back here. Now I'm going to step off my left, off my right, change the point of attack. And it actually works really well from him because he's the one given the space. But when the halves do it, it's sort of they're searching for. But as I said, that try to Jamin Salmon was based on Galvin putting that N10 into the run and getting away a really fast play the ball. But hardly anyone mentioned it. I know Gas mentioned the play when he commentated it, but there was no commentators talking about how his run was decisive in that. And if there was, I apologise, but you're not hearing that from the commentators. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of moments for Lockie to do some good things, and he won't hit the pass every time, but he'll have the options. He'll create the options for himself. And there's one part of his game that he's actually really superior with, but sort of has toned down a little bit, and that's his ability to get into the line and offload. I think he had 30 offloads or something at the Tigers in his first season, something massive. And last year he had about 19 or 20. So the fact he's got that ability and knowing the Bulldogs players are going to support and push up around him, I'm expecting some big stuff to happen for some of our players this year off the back of a Lockie Galvin. But look, he's still young. He's going to make mistakes, but he will be better. And the final thing I want to say here is, tell me what O'Sullivan does as a 7. If you got your doubts about Galvin as a 7, for example, people say, oh, he's not a 7. Paul Crawley's out there, creepy Crawley. He's not a 7. I think he's a 6. Why? Because Andrew John said so? That should be good enough, to be honest. But tell me why. Why isn't he a 7? What's he not doing that a 7 does? And what's O'Sullivan do as a 7 that Lachlan's not doing? I've heard one comment in rebuttal to it, which I just disagreed with, was, oh, he's not leading the team around. Did that team on the weekend, although it was a trial, did they look rudderless and like they didn't know where they were going and what they were doing? I don't think they ever look like that. Maybe once or twice. I think those halves were leading the team around pretty well, as was our small ball playing locks and that sort of thing. So any thoughts on that, Gas?
No, I think you summed it up quite well. Definitely, like, Sullivan came on, had a lot of energy and just looked like he was hunting. But you have to remember that O'Sullivan's come to the club and he doesn't look at his history, look at the games he's played. He wants to play first grade. So he's out there, he's on trial. So he wants to put the best he can in, and he was trying to take the ball. He knows that Galvin's in the team and everyone. Any opportunity he's going to get with the Bulldogs, he's going to be like shouting from the rooftops, look at me, look what I can do. It's just natural, because he hasn't played a lot of first grade. He's been a journeyman. He's been everywhere, man. He wants to lock something down. Now, we've got him in the team. We know he's not going to be a starting player for us. That's not why we've got him, and he knows that. He's not. But he knows that he's there to help and nurture the players, and he was doing that. We were there at the training. We saw the way that he's nurturing these younger guys, helping them through, giving details. He's there for the long haul. And if he ends up staying with the Dogs till the end of his career, there's every chance he'll end up being a sidekick to Ciraldo, someone he'll work with and coach some type of coaching, learning. But for me, his role and what he has to do now is just keep doing what he's doing, keep putting that best foot forward, because things happen, players lose form, get injured, and his time might come. But, he's going to be there, same as like last year when Sexton went out there against Melbourne and all of a sudden he just had this energy and it was like, oh, because he knew he's had all these weeks of not playing. He just wants to put it in. Where what happens at the end of a game is you go missing. You go, you sort of you run, and all of a sudden, and that's what happens to Sexton normally. He tries hard, and then he just Sullivan. He played well. He looked different. He's obviously experienced half, so he knows what he's doing, and he understands the system. So maybe this system is, if you're looking at his stats, maybe this system is the best system for him. So it's one of the reasons why we've got him in the team. So overall, I think he's going to be great for us from the learnings of the players around him, even for Birdo, and also just to have a backup and have him on that 19 now, which really it's a godsend. Having him now in the team and having that new 19 that wasn't there when we signed him, it's almost like we knew about it before it came. It's a godsend. So, imagine, like the other day, you lost Birdo, bang, you slot him straight in. He knows how to, what to do, and off we go. We're still going well. So he's a good option, but and you would have seen it out there. And I think I might have called it in the game a couple of times. There was a couple of times there was a pass that wasn't on and you didn't have to throw it. And I think it was Galvin didn't throw it. He held onto it. But then you look at the break that Sullivan made, that pass to Galvin wasn't on. It was very ambitious trying to get that pass to him. I mean, that should have been intercepted like by the player that was standing in between, should have got the ball there. I think it might have been Bradman Best, but he still tried to throw the pass anyway. So sometimes there is that little bit of feeling like you have to keep making something happen and looking for that best option. But, from where we were, he did an amazing job just to even see that gap and then, like Michael said, take it on and make something happen. And then, it was just a great tackle that saved Preston from scoring there as well. But yeah, so we'll have a couple look at a couple of comments as well, guys, to keep up with you guys. Yeah, and obviously, Geordie Marzoni, played great. There was a lot of tries by ex-Bulldog players. I think Blake Wilson, Geordie Marzoni, Curtis Moran. Obviously, there was a lot of ex-Bulldogs that were, what's his name for Parramatta? Also, Samarani scored a try. So a lot of
that was a pretty good try too from Jordan.
Yeah, a lot of ex-Bulldogs putting their name in lights, and even the Fox managed to score a try in the Indigenous game as well, in the All-Stars game. So yeah, there's a question there for you from Pete, mate.
Yeah, so look, DSF had a back spasm before the first trial, and he's been in the crowds and stuff. He's been with all the camp watching the games and stuff. I've seen him there on the sidelines and stuff. But he must be injured. He must be having some back problems. So he won't be going to Vegas. He's not in the Vegas squad. I've pretty much named the Vegas squad, but I'm just not sure if it's Montoya or Tuala, unless there's someone else that's not going that we don't know about, and they're both going.
It could be a change now with Leo as well.
Sorry?
Could be a change now with Leo as well.
Well, I think they knew Leo wasn't playing yesterday when they showed us the 6 players, because the squad with him in it would have meant that like Terps or Tuala or O'Sullivan wasn't going, for him to add 6 players. To add 6, I basically counted 19 players with Thompson in it that would have to be going if they're all fit. So you take him out, it comes down to 18, but that's with Tuala or Montoya, in my opinion, are the two. And seeing that Tuala's been playing and Montoya hasn't, I would suggest Tuala's going. And the fact that they've picked Jonathan Su'a, Cooper Toy, Tay Cochrane, just makes me think that even more.
Either somebody needs to ask Gus the question, or Thursday, guys, let's head down to the airport and see who's getting on the plane.
There you go. Are you going to be there, Gus, on Thursday? Are you going to be at the airport, bro?
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about that.
I think you're going, aren't you?
No, you know me. I've
You're
never done anything like that.
Send them off with you're going to take the flag and send them off on the plane, aren't you, Gus?
Mate, I've never done that before. You know me. Come on.
You've never been anywhere you shouldn't be.
No.
Gus, you're not going to be broadcasting live from the friggin' baggage in the plane, are you, Gus?
No, mate, no.
That would be hilarious. G'day, guys. I'm a stowaway on the thing. It's a bit cold down here, but we'll be right. 24 hours. We're going to broadcast live.
They've got a charter flight, mate. They go direct, mate. They're all sitting in business class, the boys, so they'll be all looked after up there. Because if anyone listened to that nice podcast that the pack mentality did the other day, Aaron Warburton was talking about the boys. They're going for work. They're on business duties, so they got to get there. They've got commitments the same day they arrive, and then basically, if anybody listened to that, I mean, the whole program for them yes, there's going to be a lot of these things they're going to do in the evenings and whatever, and parades and stuff, and members stuff. But their training week and their day off will still be consistent with what they do now. So nothing's going to change there. They're going to still have the same routine. So hopefully, flying business class and getting there settled means that they can basically get there kind of fresh, not too much jet lag. For Australia, for that travel to America, for anyone who's done the trip, it's actually when you come back to Australia that it throws you off a lot more. So hopefully going over there is not too bad. So coming back, having 18 days before your next game, we should be perfect by then and ready for the Raiders. So yeah.
Leonidas has got he's basically said Thompson was in the rehab group. How was Leo picked for the All-Stars? No doubt that Leo wasn't 100%. Very disappointed Bulldogs fan. Look, he's picked for the All-Stars because the club said he was fit to play, and he actually didn't even make the field against the All-Stars. So he was ruled out before. Could have happened at training for the Bulldogs or for him, or the All-Stars. These things happen. I don't know. I'm disappointed that he's not playing. I'm not disappointed in anything that he was picked to play for the All-Stars. Representing your culture is bigger than representing your club. Sorry, that's the fact. Representing your country is bigger than your state. Representing your state is bigger than your club. That's just, there's no bigger honor. And I think we're starting to lose that. And as a Bulldogs fan, I get it, because I actually feel the same way in a lot of ways. Selfishly, I'd rather see the Bulldogs win than New South Wales win. Right? But there's no friggin' way am I going to sit there and express my disappointment that someone gets picked for their culture to be, it just happens. These things happen. Lightning strikes, it happens. There's a lot of players that have been in the rehab group. As Gus said, Leo's been working with Justin Lang, as has a number of players. They've been working on some individual stuff to make sure they're right. And he was given the all clear. He tore his calf in training. It happens. These things happen. And as Gas pointed out earlier in the piece, he's not injury prone. He's played over 60 matches in the last 3 years, which is more than most props in the NRL.
Close to 70, yeah.
Yeah, close to 70. So there you go. Thank you, Lucas. Much appreciated. And we'll start it again, guys. I wasn't going to talk too much about Super Chats, but I will. I'm actually going to join this thing called Buy Me a Coffee or whatever, because it will, a lot of the chats that you give, YouTube take most of it. I sort of just felt bad that we got $100 last week, but only $62 of it will actually go to Gas, because the rest will be paid by the taxes of YouTube. And it's also with the exchange rates and stuff as well. The check's in the mail, Gas. No, he's definitely getting the money, and much appreciated. Because look, people could see how much you did for us that night, and they absolutely love seeing the players come on. I just feel really bad that, see how I've got a small right here. I was that sort of starstruck and stuff like that, and worried that Gas was going to be on 7 Nightly News or 9 News being thrown in a paddy wagon or roughed up by security guards or something, that I didn't do this. I wish I had done this while he was streaming, and actually I just wish that just put him on and taken my head off. And so we could have seen a big just Jacob Preston and Harry Hayes and Andrew Voss.
Montoya's.
Vossi annoys me. It feels like every time he commentates now, like it's they're trying to create content for SEN. But I love what he said about the Bulldogs. You know, and the fact that he sort of treated it like a real interview, I really was impressed by that. And I love what the Montoyas. It was great. It was just really well done, Gas, and you deserved every cent. But people, if you want to open your wallets and help us out, it's a big. It really does help. And Bulldogs Mike joined this week, which is fantastic. We get more and more members. It all helps. But I will start to look at that buy me a coffee thing, because it will mean that more of that money will actually come to us. And it, we're all doing it tough. Amir, I can't see Montoya staying after this year. I can, mate. I think he'll retire a Bulldog just quietly. And that's knowing how much he's valued by the club and how much he loves the club as a Bulldogs junior and someone that's very talented, very tough. But, if he keeps getting injured and all that sort of thing, he might have to take, you just don't know. And you might be right. But I think our current depth in ready-made centres, wingers and all that sort of stuff is a little bit not as strong as it could be. But that will work itself out over the next year or two, as it always does. But we're in a much better position in the engine room, which is where we want to be. I know Thompson's not playing, and DSF just hurt himself, obviously, with that back spasm. But, AJ Jones wasn't ready last year, was he? No. Does he look like he might handle NRL? Yep. Lipboy will handle it. I know he's not on the plane. He must be disappointed. Yeah, there's a fair bit of depth there. It's pretty bloody good. Oh, here he is. Where have you been, mate? We've been missing you a lot, brother. And thank you, Lucas, again for paying with your pocket. Really love it. Timmy says we love everything you do, guys. Much appreciated for last week, brother.
You're welcome. Thanks. No worries, guys. Happy to help.
Mike says he expects Leo to be back round 8, 7 or 8. Yep, 100%. You were saying potentially round 7, Gas?
7 games, so maybe round 9 with the bye.
Oh, okay.
If it's 10 weeks from now, so
Timmy says Blake was impressive for Manly. Blake Metcalf, I think, related to Luke. Geordie Mazzoni, nice. Yeah, Amir, I agree. I want to get one up on Penrith. Penrith and Brisbane, we need to get one up on them. And we need to keep the dominance over Souths going. We need to turn 2 game dominances into 4 games. We need to keep that going. They look pretty impressive yesterday.
Dragons. Keep the Dragons. We've won 5 in a row. We've won 5 in a row. We need to make it 6.
We do. We do.
Against the Dragons.
Yeah, Terp struggled a little bit, I felt, in that trial. Like, he had a crack for sure, and he was putting his body there. He's one that benefits from the runner greatly. Expect him, when he next plays a first-grade game, to do a lot better. And I think Terps will go better in a situation where he's not sort of having to come in and prove himself, sort of thing. He just come in and play his role. Obviously likes playing Brisbane. So hopefully he'll get a run against them. Mike says, I'll tell Ren to come and let the boys know what the Broncos did to us last year. There you go. Amir, do you expect Critter to play on kick outside or Preston's? I think they might stay this left edge thing. Like, there's 2 trains of thought, and both are equally just. You've got, okay, he was there to help Sewer. be more comfortable defensively and all that sort of stuff, or to make sure he got him some ball. Or they genuinely want him to play left edge because you'll get more ball naturally playing down the left. And that combination with Kick-Out, Burton, and, and whoever's on that wing is going to get more footy. And they're just going to peel defenders off each other. It just makes sense. Like, how could you even, like, for me, Burton at 6, Critter at 3, or left centre, Kick-Out. That's insane. I can't even believe I haven't even really thought of it. Like, it just makes complete sense. It just makes sense.
The only worry is that when Carraz comes back, what they want to do there, because they've always kept Critter with Carraz. That's when he hasn't been there, they've tried this at times and they've switched Critter around. So, and Terry hasn't done too well sometimes with the change. So defensively, him and Montoya are very strong together. Attacking wise, it's not the best combination, as you've seen, like, pre-Fox days, when he used to have that speed and stuff, it was more dangerous. But I'm just curious to see whether when Carraz comes back in the team, do they then put Critter back beside him, or what do they do there? So, because Carraz is versatile, he can play, he can stay there without him. But it does give us a lot more. It makes that side very dangerous.
Carraz played left wing in the semi-final, I think, against Manly in 2024, didn't he?
Yes.
And he played outside Cherry in that game.
Mm.
So I think, and that was a great try, by the way. I remember that. It was a really good try. It was one of the greatest tries ever scored. Try and put on felt like I'm starting to sound like Donald fucking Trump. I don't know how anyone can follow anyone that said, sorry, I'm not getting political, but I know we like to beat down on greatness in this country sometimes, and we're, tall poppies and that, but anyone who tells you how fucking great they are all the time, like, sorry, it's definitely not Australian. Anyway,
I haven't seen that since Muhammad Ali, and he was great.
Yeah, but he used to get into people's minds, didn't he?
That's right. Maybe that's what he's trying to do now. Anyway.
Anyway. Sorry, guys. Hang up if you want. We'll put Donald Trump in the hashtag, and I'll get, 74,000 viewers will come on trying to defend him. Let's keep making the Bulldogs great again. There we go. Make the Bulldogs great again. All right, how we going? We're an hour and 38 minutes into it. We've got 60 people watching. Good to see you all. Let's keep getting into it.
Next week, guys, be prepared for more podcasts in the week leading up to the game. I think if all goes well, we should be able to do a podcast pretty much every night in the lead up to the big one at Vegas. So,
yep.
Depending on what we've got on, I mean, we might, not have to go as long for each one, but we'll be giving you something probably every night with the final countdown, especially as we see more. There's going to be a lot of information coming back from Vegas as well.
Yeah. There'll be lots of stuff, and we'll just be able to talk about it with you guys, and you'll be able to let us know your thoughts, and it'll be very interactive as usual. That's it there, Benny. Vegas, baby. I did want to just touch, I forgot to mention it, but when I was talking about the 6-man bench and stuff, what some of the dual roles, we saw Kurt Mann play a bit of dummy half late in that match. And that's going to be by purpose. So, for example, if we need to play that extra forward because one might go down, for example, Kick-Out gets injured, Okay, they might have been going. They're sort of deciding whether they were going to play Curran or they weren't sure if they were going to play Curran or Turpin or O'Sullivan or whoever it was. We lose, kick out. Curran goes onto the edge. Do we need that? We need to keep that middle rotation going so we don't have the luxury of giving Hayward a break in the same way. So if Hayward needs a break, okay, Mann comes on and goes to hooker for a little bit instead of putting on Turpin or whatever else because we've had to use that extra forward. There's those scenarios. You've also got, and look, to be honest, Mann threw a couple of horrible passes from dummy half if you go watch.
Just ask O'Sullivan. Just ask O'Sullivan, yeah. The only one he dropped was that one that came from Mann, yeah.
Yeah.
Which shows you how clean the passes from Hayward were, really. That when you had that slight change, that's when the breakdown came.
100%. 100%. So yeah, we've got we'll have that versatility, guys, and that's the thing, you know. So the rotation might be to replace Hughes and King with Hayes and Tupanua, for example. Curran's there. Turpin's there, or O'Sullivan's there. Maybe the three of them are there, for example. Who do we need to pick next? Okay. We get an injury in the middle. We get an injury out wide. Keep that rotation going. We play the extra forward. And then and we take the punt. If we then get another injury, we can just move players around as we want. Because we know that a Kurt Mann could move into the halves if he had to. Salmon can move into the halves. Bailey Hayward can move into the halves. And someone else can go to 9. Burton can move out into the centres if need be. And centres can move out to the wing. And vice versa. Critter can go to fullback. Carraz could go to fullback. We've got cover during a game due to our versatility. And this is what I'm talking about, the greatest minds in rugby league. Gus Gould, Serrato. They're basically picking teams that, in my opinion, are like have almost an origin focus. You know, no coach in the world was going to pick Sean Timmins as their number 6 and then have him kick a fucking winning field goal. You know what I mean? But Gould did that. There was better 6s out there, in my opinion, he could have picked. I was furious that Sean Timmins was playing 6 for New South Wales. I was fucking cheering his name and getting drunk later that night and wanting him to come to the Bulldogs.
40 out kick.
40 out kick. Like, Gould picked a team to win by 2 points that he knew would do the job. He trusted those players. And it's the same with these guys. He's picking footballers and developing footballers. So if you're a young guy watching this YouTube podcast or whatever, and you're playing for the Bulldogs or you're playing park footy or whatever it is, and you've got versatility, don't be frustrated that you're not the first choice center or you're not the first choice bloody halfback or fullback or whatever it is. If you've got the ability to go out there and play numerous roles, clubs like the Bulldogs are going to want to know you, because that's why we got Jamin Salmon. That's why as I say it all the time, Harry Hayes, centre, back rower, front rower. Preston, centre, back rower. You could put him into a lock position. I'm sure you could. I bet you if he wanted to be a ball-playing lock, he'd be one of the best. I bet you he would. I've seen him throw balls to each other. I've seen Curran put balls off the deck onto people's chests just in warm-ups. They've all got skills.
Both ways. He throws it both ways as well, Curran, yeah.
Can throw both sides of his body.
Yep.
They've all got this ability. It's different in the pressure of a game, though, and doing it rep after rep after rep. But they've all got this ability because they're all great footballers. And there's just so much talent out there. And they work on those skills. They're constantly doing these little skill drills that used to be just sort of segregated from each other. Okay, you're a prop. You don't need to do that. No, they're all fucking doing it. They're all trying to learn how to defend laterally as much as they are up and in. You know, they're just becoming better footballers. They're trying to help them become better people. Well, they know they're already good people, but trying to help them, make good choices in their life and help them all set themselves up. There's definitely sometimes things don't align and bad shit happens, but I'll just love the way, and I think we're set up well. It may not turn out that way, right? But I'm confident that with this 6-man bench and stuff, that we've got the type of
depth,
and the type of footballers in our squad, which are going to really enable that to work well. But this is a game changer, this rule. It is, because there's teams that would have, if they had that ability last year with the depth that they actually have in their squad, may have actually won some games that they lost and vice versa for some teams. So, look, if you got a lot of depth in your 30, if you're not, if it's not all diluted into your best 17 or 18, I think these rules are going to be good for those teams with that really good depth across their squad. G'day, Andy. How are you?
I got Andy.
Bloody elf. All right, how are we going? What else are we talking about?
Good there, mate.
Aki's going well, is he?
Yeah, he was on earlier, mate. I'm not sure if he's still on, but he said hello earlier, and he also threw a shout out to Matt Utai. So I think, Mike, you also mentioned that as well. So, yep, let's hope he recovers well for those who are not aware or those who've heard. So everyone's wishing him well, and hopefully he's a fighter. Hopefully he pulls through, and hopefully all the bad stuff can sort itself out, hopefully amicably for the families all involved. Let's see.
Guys, there's something I'm doing on the side which isn't Bulldogs related.
Zero.
But I'm going to show you guys. What do we got there? All right, let's bring this up. Remove that. Sorry, people. I'm doing March on with Soldier on in March. So just letting you know. I've had a lot of people donate already, but it's basically my challenge to prevent veteran suicide and save lives. My son is in the Navy. My grandfather died in Changi. My goal is $1,045. It's not much, and I've raised $430 with about 12 donors, which is fantastic. And I didn't think I'd even raise that, so I'm so blessed. But guys, I'll share the link with this on our Facebook pages and on YouTube and stuff like that. But basically, in March, I'll be walking 3 kilometers a day. Now, I've been watching everything on Count Me Steps. It's not going to be the steps I do that add up to 3Ks, just doing my job and, walking to the fridge from the couch to get some food and munchies and whatever else. It's not just going to be that. I'm actually going to go and do an actual walk for 3 kilometers every single day, whether it be first thing in the morning or at night. Probably do some live streams as well, talk about the footy. I might even stream live from the same ways here on YouTube. If people want to get on and have a chat, I'll be able to do so. Probably cop some weird looks and shit, but I don't care. I may be in a maroon coloured shirt because if you raise $96 in this, they send you out a shirt and stuff to wear and some things, little merch things. But basically, the money we've raised already will support about 13 people with numerous sessions. We've paid professionals able to help them. The number one suicide risk is return servicemen between the age of, I think, 24 and 30 something years old, or 40 something years old. That demographic of people who serve our country are the most likely to kill themselves. And I found that to be really unacceptable. So this is what this is all about in order to help those people. So look, there's lots of different, I look at ovarian cancer and there's breast cancer, and we're all hit by different things that we want to support. But if anyone wants to help me in that, let me know and I can send you all the link and whatever else. Well, I'll provide that there and you can donate, or even you can join up yourself and actually walk and try and get your own family and friends to donate for you if that's something that you're interested in. So yeah, I'll show that to the group and I'll share it again. But that's my commitment every day in March 1st to the 31st. I'll be doing a 3K walk as a minimum. It's usually 4Ks the route that I take and that I like to do. But I might go to a few different locations actually and do a few different ones. But yeah, it's important to me. And I'm just letting you guys know because I can. I think it's I'm obliged to let people know who I speak to every week in our community that I'm out there trying to raise money for something. There's that, and there's also you can, pay for my podcast as well. Thank you, Benny. Get behind Mick for March on. That's it, brother. Thank you so much, Timmy. And that's it. Just saying hello, just saying well done, just saying thank you. That's all support. It's not all about the money. And I will appreciate when I'm out there on the walk that I connect with Bulldogs people. And, going for a walk, if I get to talk while I'm doing it, makes it a lot easier and a lot more interesting. Although sometimes it's good just to say nothing and take in the vibes and feel the, what I'm talking about, Gas. And anyone who goes for walks or runs, it's great for your mental health as well, which is what this is all about. Walking is one of the best things for your mental health, hey? So
absolutely.
Yeah. Let's get back to this. So I'll turn that off.
Here's a question for you, mate.
Is Crow's going to be ready for Vegas? Of course he is, mate. In the words of Gus Gould, relax. That's what he said on Twitter today to the same question.
You know how you know he's going to be ready? He's already been to JCar to pick up his stuff. Did you guys see it?
He's got his travel pack.
He's got his travel pack. And Montoya's there too.
Oh, when the dogs go marching on. Oh, when the dogs go marching on. Da 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 da.
They won't like that over there. I just hope that all the people that travel to Vegas do come back. Don't get in trouble, guys. It's a bit dicey over there. Just stay safe.
Amir, he's all fired up for the Penrith game already. I don't even know what round it is yet. What's the key for us beating Penrith? Do you think it'll be a matter of who breaks first in the grind? I don't know. We might have to take some risks.
Yes.
Maybe it's like who dares wins. All I know is that the Penrith we play during the season and the one that we play in the semis will be two different levels. And if we think that just being close to them or beating them during the year is going to mean diddly squat when we get to the finals, we've lost it before we've got there. They never, like, I know no team wants to lose to any team, but I did the article last year, and I haven't done a lot of articles recently, guys, just with being ill, the illness that I've had recently and stuff like that. It's too much to do, but I'll get back onto it. The team, the biggest rivalry in rugby league, I believe, over the next 10 years is going to become the Bulldogs and the Panthers. Fans have a big say in that as well. I think once the Panthers get home again, it's going to be a bit even bigger. Going out to Penrith Park and their new stadium and trying to pull their pants down there is going to be a big thing for us. But yeah, I just see with the way the systems are and just a couple of things in there. It's just going to become a huge rivalry. And I think it also, because what I'm seeing in the juniors especially, the Bulldogs junior teams, when they play Penrith, it's always extra spicy between the two sides. I just think it's developing into a huge rivalry. And I understand why you asked the question, Amir. I really do, because could be who cracks first in the grind during the season. We should have beaten them. Like, I can't believe we lost that match to a Nathan Cleary fucking charge down. But then when we got to the finals, we were broken before we got there, and had nothing to do with Galvin and all that. And I think we cost them winning the grand. Even though we didn't beat them, we stopped them from making a grand final. And I'm not trying to take credit for it, or our team should take credit for it, because I know they're not. They wouldn't. They lost to be like, fuck it, who cares? But the fact that the Penrith, I think Ivan Cleary fucked up. I really do. I think he respected the Dogs so much and was worried that they were going to come home with the way the game is, that he just put players out there a little bit longer than he needed to or wanted to. And they ran out of juice against the Broncos. It wasn't all Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh, when he's running downhill, is pretty immaculate. But you look at the tries that Penrith had, that the Broncos had to manufacture just to beat Penrith. Obviously, you had the 23 grand final, but they weren't superb tries. They were just tries. They were tries that I'd sort of say, a team that's struggling to win a game and they get a win, where the ball just lands the right way. It all happens on the day for them. But they had to battle their ass off to beat that Penrith side. And I reckon the juice we took out of them, because they refused to take Cleary off and refused to take these players off and give them a rest earlier, I think it cost them in the end against the Broncos. I really do.
That was the Galvin effect. The Galvin effect, mate. That was the Galvin effect, because he kept coming.
That's right.
Him and Preston, they just kept coming. And he knows they couldn't switch off. We didn't allow them just to cruise to victory. We kept coming, and like you said, he respected that. And it paid the price in the end. But look, at least we want to believe that as well. So I think what's going to have to start happening as well. At the moment, we've got a few big games that we play during the year, like Good Friday, the King's birthday. The scheduling is going to have to start working in our favor. They're going to have to start creating something for us with the Panthers. That's going to be a game where it can be supported. Because at the moment, we've been getting Thursday nights and all these other, innocuous games where they're not going to be heavily supported. It's not going to create that big game, the rivalry. I think if we get some, like a big Sunday game or something they can create, around some of those things, and have it as a fixture, kind of like Rabbitohs Roosters play last game of the year every year. They always play. Like there's a few fixtures that are always there, like us and Rabbitohs. We need to have something like that created for the Panthers to maintain that that sort of that make it elite level, like that big game. At the moment, Thursday night is not going to create that. It was a great game last time, the one we played at Combank, but it's not going to create that. Then obviously the second one, Penrith, rested 40 of their top 17, and then we just cruised to victory. But yeah, we need to have that work in our favor as well. At the moment, it's just another game, but we're on the way up. We're going to be able to start demanding that, asking for that, requesting that, and hopefully getting something like that. There's a few games in the year that are that way. I'm sure the AI that works out the draw can slot it in there somewhere as well and give us do it for us as well.
Well, Jerusi's got to get involved, get his AI into the NRL.
That's it,
and that'll be a big help.
So that's what I think is going to have to happen to give us that those big games with them. All
right, guys. Well, we haven't got long to go, but I I've been forced to give away goods the last couple of weeks because we've reached that $50. We're at $8 tonight. If you wanted to go in the draw, throw some money out. But honestly, guys, we might keep that up for next week. I might even add Lucas's total from this week on to next week to get it started in the run to Vegas. I'd love to give some prizes away in the run to Vegas, especially. And just a new Dogs of War shirt that's been launched by Footy Head. You can see it there in the background there behind me. Dog Father's wearing it. Looks really bloody brilliant. The past, the future, it's all there. Now, it's not official Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs merch. I think they're about $55 each, but they're quality shirts. I'm wearing one now. Viva Los Belmore, so is Gas. So if you want to get a shirt, go buy one. But if you go in the competition, you can actually choose that shirt as one of the winners. Okay. And a lot of people have got the team wrong because they got Leo Thompson in their team. So those who have waited around, smart work, go and put your entries in. If you got kids, you can put an entry in for them as well. I don't care. You can have a couple of cracks at it.
Guys, right. if you want to go back and put another team in, you can, but the last team that you got in will be the one that counts. And if someone's had that team in before you, then they obviously will be ahead of you. But if you wanted to go back in, by all means, you can do that as well.
And let's big shout out to James Teasdale. I haven't seen you for a while, mate. I hope everything's going well with you and the little fella. And he's got the most beautiful little French bulldog as well. Just absolute crack up. Love it. But thanks for giving us money, mate. But I want to hear some of your thoughts, man. You're usually on point, and it's good to see all the regulars come back this week. Pete's got a 15% off voucher as well. We should all actually have one, but I'm hopeless for stuff like that. If anyone wants to buy a shirt, let us know. Reach out on All Things Bulldogs. Pete can give you the code for a 15% discount. Steve's he's great. And if you've got friends and family who go for other teams, there's some really good ones for other teams as well.
You can go onto the Dogfather website, and you can enter through there as well. So dogfather.com.au. You can have a look.
You just click on enter here. It's .com.au. Yep. I'm just posting the comment up. It's right there. Oh, sorry. It's not AUJ. It's just .a. I'll write it again. It defaults you to the competition entry page. It'll give you a form. It's just a Google Sheet form. It's all protected. You put in the 17 players. Now, I know there's going to be 19 players that are named. It's the 17 that are used, or the first 17 that are used. Okay? That would be the winning entry. The first 3 people who get that correct will win a choice of shirt. And there'll be a draw for everybody who, whether you won or lost, everyone will be in a draw to win another prize. Not sure what that prize is yet. Maybe Gas will get us something signed or whatever. He's got that beautiful Bulldogs pin, which he was given. I can see that on your collar there. He was given that at Luna Park last week. Ex-player or from the Bulldogs. Obviously a real gentleman. Gas just said, I love your pin, and he gave it to him. It was amazing. But go to Dogfather Media. You just put 17 players in. There's only a spot for 17, and it's the first 17. It's the 17 players that actually play the game, okay? That will be the winning entry, okay? You just need to have your entry in before an hour before the game. That's all you got to do. Quite simple. If there's more than what's the first 3 correct entries, that will win. So if you're number 78 and and you get it right, and you're the third person, and someone at number 79 puts the same team as you win ahead of them. But they will all go into the draw to win something else. So there you go.
Yeah, it's nice
Looking
and sparkly,
shiny,
mate.
guys.
It looks like carrot gold of some sort. It's really nice and shiny. Got a bit of weight to it as well.
About your head. I thought he was talking about your scone, mate.
Yeah, I don't hide it all the time with a hat like some people.
Mate, look at that hair, eh?
Yeah.
There's no advanced hair, at my house, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to lose me hair if it does get me a sponsor. All right, so we've got $10.50 towards next week. So if we get to $50 next week, so another 40, we'll give something away. But much appreciated. I reckon that's it. Have we covered everything off, Gas?
Yep.
Everything
theory? Looks all right. Everything's all right on there. Yes.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for joining tonight, everyone. It was great to see you all. G'day, Tani. Good to see you.
Look.
James said hello. I want to hear that. Let's go Tay Cochran and go the doggies.
Yes.
Bloody loving Tay Cochran, mate.
He's going to get that over the top pass sorted soon. Don't worry. He's had 2 attempts in the last 2 trials. He's missed his mark, but the winger's going to help him out as well. But he'll get it right, and he's going to look good.
Who's that?
Tay Cochran.
Yeah,
that's 2 weeks in a row. He's done the over the top, the one that similar pass to what Galvin did to Jethro in the game against the Dragons. But both times he's missed his mark.
Oh, don't worry. By this time next year, he'll be hitting it.
Don't worry. That's what I'm saying. He'll be working on it.
100%. Look, if you can get me a GoFundMe and organise a passport in 2 weeks, I'll probably need another $5,000 for that. Because money talks, I reckon. Go for it, Mike. I'm all up for it, mate. Or you can go as me.
My passport's ready, guys. Get me on the plane. Let's go.
Look, the Kennel podcast. I enjoyed watching that ad that they did. Elmo, he's obviously got a sponsor from All Finance or something. It's called, who's it from? Something Finance, a finance company. Watch it. Go to the Kennel podcast. Watch. There's a 3-minute on it. It's a nice ad, and they're saying that they pay for them to go to Vegas. So well done to get a sponsor to do that. That's bloody brilliant. And that's what it's about. This Bulldogs community, whether we all have the same opinions or not, or whether we're all friends or whatever, it doesn't matter. People are out there living their dreams by supporting the dogs, and good on him. So they'll be over in Vegas, and they'll have some content. So I encourage everyone to get on and have a watch. But there's also the Pack Mentality podcast, which has come out. Looks like the club's sort of given a bit backing as well, because they are focused heavily on mental health. Matt Utai, who's running it, you can go follow him on Facebook and on Instagram, and follow Pack Mentality on Instagram. It's on YouTube as well. They're pretty much going to do podcasts. I'll have interviews with probably some players and people around the club, and they look like they'll go from 30 minutes to an hour. They'll be pre-recorded interviews that you'll be able to watch any time. And we'll continue to do what we do, and that's have our lives and our player focuses and our videos and our articles and all that sort of stuff that we do, and sharing as much content as we can throughout our streaming services that we've got, and through Facebook and whatever else. So but James says he's really happy with our team. Sean O'Sullivan played his role when he was on. Burton was good while he was on. Satilli was a beast, but Gowan is going to step up. I think that flick pass was smooth. Great to hear from you, James. Great to hear from you, mate. And I 100% agree. And I've got no complaints with the team. On a premiership at least. There you go, brother. Thanks, Lucas. Tony says the best to come from him yet. We love Tay.
Yep.
Good night. You talk now, Gas. I've said enough. Go the Dogs.
You're right. All good, guys. Thank you. Have a great week. Don't forget to check out the countdown I've just posted. 11 days to go. There's a few nice stats in there and information.
Sam Hughes will take Leo's spot in the starting lineup, I have no doubt.
Yes.
And Harry Hayes, Satili Tupanua, Kurt Mann will be your 3 bench players, and then there'll be a choice to be made between Curran, O'Sullivan, and maybe an outside back, or Curran, Turpin, and an outside back. You've heard it here
If anyone disagrees, go on to footy head competition and select your team as well. Don't just listen to Michael. Go and put your team in there. If you like what he said, put it in there anyway.
All right. Great to see you all, people.
See you guys.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for Bulldogs Mike, who's joined the podcast, Lucas and James, who've contributed yet again. So
thanks,
just
guys.
Blessed. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you guys very shortly. Send me a message on Facebook, on Messenger. I'm always there if you want to have a chat. Take care, people, and go the Dogs.
Go the Doggies.
Yo, what up, guys? Want to give a massive shout out to All Things Bulldogs. If you guys haven't watched their podcast, check them out. Let's go.
Hey guys, Tuesday nights, All Things Bulldogs Podcast. Make sure you get onto it. Go the Doggies.
Shout out All Things Bulldogs.
Every Tuesday night, mate.
Every Tuesday night.
All Things Bulldogs, mate.
All Things Bulldogs YouTube, Tuesday night.
Tuesday
live.
night. That's it. Every week, mate.
All Things Bulldogs. Big shout out. Up the Doggies.
Every Tuesday night we do a podcast, mate. Our biggest supporters, mate.
All Things Bulldogs.
Yeah. Josh.